plenty of them. This is the 60th in the league, the first for the former Leeds United defender Mark Jackson, who is in desperate need of a win, as all coaches are, but particularly those new in the hot seat and with a legacy to defend as well. Robbie Stanton, he has his first win under the belt last time out that will settle any nerves for him in his first job as an A-League head coach. Jack Morgan is our referee. The first time he takes charge of this fixture, he's being assisted by Andrew Lindsay and Andre Kiev. Sam Kelly is the fourth official. Well, the Mariners have won this fixture 22 times, Newcastle 19. It's so often competitive. Local, regional pride on the line. Plenty of young players to look out as well. These are actually the two youngest sides in the A-League this season. And the F3 derby is underway. They don't come much bigger than this in this part of the world. Daniel McGreen, as you know only too well, the Central Coast Mariners have never, ever lost their first 5 matches of a season. They'll be hoping to avoid that this afternoon.
Well, without a doubt, be no better game to change those fortunes in a derby at home in front of your own crowd. Pitch is looking wonderful. Weather perfect. Lots of slide tackles, I'm sure, today. It hasn't been the easiest of starts for Mark Jackson. They have created chances. They just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. And he'll be hoping today's the day that that all changes.
Well, the Mariners, 50 shots at goal. It's the second highest coming into round 5 of the season. The second highest of any team in the competition, but just 2 goals to show for it. First ever A-League goal for Brian Kaltak. So an unlikely source, we can say. And Alu Kuol with the other on his return. That's one high up the pitch. Marco Tullio. We were talking about him in the pre-game show as Torres finds Farrell. The cross almost turned towards his own goal by Kankar. And good positive signs early from the Mariners.
Yeah, good play there from the blue and yellow. It's a good overlapping run from Jacob Farrell, or underlapping run, I should say. Deflection almost sneaking in at that near post.
Here is the Colombian winger. New this season, Angel Torres, sent off against Perth, suspended last weekend. To the back post, Kaltak's header. No problem for Ryan Scott. We have a jet down. Holding midriff there. Kankar, after that challenge in the air with Kaltak. Left the Mariners midway through last season with, I'm reliably informed, an offer on the table. There was too much contact. Headed off to Scotland with Livingston, only to return to the Jets midway through last season.
Well, I'm looking at those replays. I still can't work out what's happened. Maybe they jarred the elbow as he came down, or on collision with Brian Kaltak. He's a big, strong man. Well, they both are.
Trying to explain what happened, perhaps a little overextension, but not Kaltak's knee that was up at any rate. I'm sure he'll be back on the pitch before too long, as Kuol thought he'd done enough to pick the pocket of Mark Natter there. Natter, who was called up late to the Olyroos and travelled to the Middle East last week during the international break.
That's a clear foul there from Alu Kuol. And we spoke about Will Wilson potentially being on the left wing. You see he started on the right for the Mariners today. Miguel Torres on this left.
It's a more classic, perhaps, 4-4-2 today than the 4-3-3 we have seen.
Very similar style to last season, isn't it? Marco Tullio likes to start high and then drift back into that 10 role.
Josh Nisbet and Max Ballard, the two central midfielders for the Mariners. There's no Harrison Steele today. He was sent off last game 2 weeks ago, as there's the early cross from Storm Rue, and it was behind Quoll. Appeals from the crowd for perhaps a penalty. Nothing too serious from the players themselves. Torres back with Farrell. Red cards have been something of a theme for the Mariners. Farrell was sent off in the second half of the opening game of the season, the loss to Adelaide, which somewhat set the tone. Here's Marco Tullio. Had more shots than any other player in the league this season, but still looking for a first goal. Mind you, he does have 6 in the AFC Cup, equal top scorer in that competition, so he does still know where the back of the net is.
No disrespect to that competition, but there has a bit of a discrepancy between the A-League teams and the teams they've met in that competition so far. But you still have to do the job. And he'll just be hoping he can translate that into the A-League now.
Both A-League sides looking good to progress to the semi-finals, both top of their sections. And the Mariners can actually secure their spot in the semi-finals with a game to spare if they can beat Malaysian outfit Terengganu this Wednesday night here in Gosford. That will be a big night and avoid a competitive trip to the Philippines, at least for the return match against Stallions Laguna. Good ball from Ballard. Getting it wide. Now Wilson. A heavy touch. Takes it behind up against Moragas. Goal kick for the Jets.
Well, the Mariners have had plenty of possession in this first 5 or 6 minutes. Moving the ball from side to side, looking to find those spaces in the wide areas in behind. They've done it once on each side so far.
Good high press from Torres, who's yet perhaps to convince 100% his new fans. Has found the back of the net in the AFC Cup, so has Alu Quoll. He's actually scored in every competition he's played in for the Mariners. Australia Cup, he was on the score sheet in that 3-3 draw and subsequent penalty loss against Sydney FC. Scored in the AFC Cup, scored in the A-League as well already since his return, that is. Dan Hall all the way back with Vukovic. Kaltak. Storm pushing very high up the right-hand side.
Yeah, I was just about to say, he's pushing very high and they're coming into a back three, and Will Wilson steps inside to try and make an overload in the central areas as well.
They were unable to get the ball into feet in that area, which means the Jets have it back, and perhaps the first chance for them to try and construct something here. Moragas finds Kankar. Back with Natta. Back to his O'Neill. With the shirt tucked into the shorts. Natta and Moragas were both in the Ollie Roo squad. There's O'Neill with Grozos. Good little touch, and that's a lovely turn. Malcolm Bayliss, one of 2 former Mariners in the starting 11. There's a third on the bench for the Jets in Thomas Aquilina. First time ball. In behind. Taylor's done well to keep that in play. Cross bounces off the head. And Max Ballard. Brew clears long, but only to find Natter. Opened the scoring against Melbourne victory. Mark Natter this season, his first goal for the Jets. It's a bit like poking the bear though. Corner roll, he went and scored 4 up the other end. Mind you, could have been different. Taylor got a brace, could have had a hat-trick. And that's been somewhat the story of the Jets season till they got that win. Western United might say the boot was on the other foot that day. But the Jets certainly felt they were overdue a first victory. Farrell goes inside again. Oh, he just took the foot off the gas for a moment. Marco Tullio still got the ball in. Farrell does ever so well. Hingham now with Bahaja. Stamatolopoulos gets there, back with Hingham. That's a great challenge. Farrell. Apart from that red card, the blot on the copybook, he has been outstanding this season, whether in the A-League or on the continent. Wilson. Rue with Torres. He had a little bit more time than he thought there, Angel Torres, but the high press from the Mariners looking to close down O'Neill. He somehow managed to get out of a very tight spot there.
Well, that's what that man there does. Josh Nisbet, he's a terror in that midfield. He won't let the Jets players rest and have time on the ball. You can see him there willing his player Will Wilson to help him on. Come and press, let's put them under pressure and try and win the ball back high.
This match that was meant to be played in Newcastle, of course, was changed just last week. The F3 derbies inverted this season. As Farrell's pass looking for Tullio. Clever little back heel for Torres. The cross back post, the header, oh, and Kuol. The opportunity presented itself, but wasn't necessarily orthodox or to be expected, but a chance it was.
Well, it's a great run here, and just when you thought the ball was going to get out and he might have to just try and swing it in, beautiful back heel, always doing the unexpected, and it's not a bad ball in from Torres. And as that header comes back across the goal, Alu Kuol's on the stretch. And that's been the tail of the tape for the Mariners so far this season. So close yet so far.
That's another one that will be reflected in the expected goals stats, for which the Mariners, it doesn't make pretty reading, just 2 goals. As Buhaja's cross, Dan Hall gets it clear with Nisbet, and now Kaltak. The Mariners' XG is 5.39 for their 2 goals. They have the worst differential in the league. They should have, in that respect, probably 5 or 6 more goals than they do.
There's 2 ways you could look at that, and I know which way the coach and staff will be looking at it. They'll be trying to impress on their team that you're creating opportunities, you're getting into the right positions, it'll come. The game plan is working, we just need to finish it off, and then the confidence will change.
Danny Vukovic, he's seen it all before. He will not be getting down in the dumps, won't let his confidence drop too much. When the team is doing it tough, that's where that experience is so crucial in what is a very young side. Belgian goalkeeper of the year with Genk when they did the double a few years ago. Wilson with the nod on towards Kuol. Storm Roux gets there, he's another of the experienced players. Wilson, low cross, only as far as O'Neill. Costa Grozos takes over. Invites Dane Ingham to get forward down this right-hand side. The key with that was a good idea.
Yeah, it was the right idea, wasn't it? Trent Bahaja making the run just inside Brian Kaltak. That hits the toe. have been a great foot race into the box.
Despite the difficult conditions for watching football and the late fixture change, there's a good travelling contingent of Jets fans here. How about that pass from Tullio again? Qual was looking for Farrell. And now Torres, inside and out. What does the referee make of that? Nothing. No foul by Bayless. Mikel Torres doesn't like it. Ball out of play. Mackie has said perfect conditions for football. Are these perfect conditions for sideline reporting? Let's head down to Benny Homer.
Well, Robbie, it's not too bad down here. It's just spitting a little bit currently, so I'd say pretty decent conditions. Mariners, really good start from them, and maybe these murder ball sessions I've heard about through the last 2 weeks in the international break, where they haven't had matches of football. They've really been intense 11-on-11 training sessions they've been doing.
Well, maybe they will pay off. You've had more luck than me, Ben. I went up to watch Mariners training during the international break, and they weren't training. They were heading down for a June session at the beach, which didn't sound like much fun.
Well, it sounds like a real shocker, that one, doesn't it?
It was, I think Mark Jackson said, sometimes you just need a change of scenery to try and get the team back on, to break this run of results. So that was one of the things, along with murder ball, apparently.
Well, whatever you need to do to change it. Sometimes when things aren't going well, just a little change of scenery can make a big difference and refresh the brain and get them back on track. But I wouldn't have liked the Dunes. That might have been the day I had a hamstring strain.
Well, here come the Jets. Down that left-hand side. Early ball in towards Bahaja.
Well, it was a good run from Bahaja again, using his pace. And we saw on that occasion there, Lucas Moragas putting the ball in early in behind the Mariners' defence. We saw Bahaja do the same on the right-hand side when he was looking for Apostolos Dermatolopoulos. And maybe that's something that the Jets have looked at and said, use our pace, early balls in behind the defence, cause problems.
Tullio, oh, clever, through the legs of O'Neill. Now flicks it out the side. Roux crosses behind Qual. I didn't think he was the intended target. Perhaps he wasn't.
Well, there wasn't much else on offer. Everyone had gone central. And my initial thought when the ball went out to Storm Roux, there was no one going around the back post. Although Qual was rather central on his own and everyone else had gone to the edge of the box.
Dermatolopoulos with the nod down for Bahaja, but he couldn't control. We spoke last night, Macca, about two sides that we're used to playing without the ball. It's the same story again today. Certainly the Jets are set out as a counter-attacking side with that pace. And in Dermatolopoulos, the finisher that's in form at the moment that they have, they can count on having fewer chances and taking them. But the Mariners, I mean, these two sides are the two sides that have completed the fewest passes this season. As he goes Torres, the cross, it's going to go out for a corner. But the Mariners have to take the initiative here. They're at home, they're dominating possession at the moment. It's not that easy to just change the way you've been playing unless this is the philosophy.
Well, that's it. You know, over the course of the last 2 weeks, they probably would have said, we want to start controlling games. We've got quality attacking players. Let's get them in high areas of the pitch, on the ball, running at defenders, and get bodies in the box.
Well, they were the strengths last season for the Central Coast Mariners. Angel Torres with the set piece. Tullio is there, and it comes short to Marco Tullio. Against the youngster Bayless. Bayless was training with the first team last season with the Mariners. He'll know all about Marco Tullio's tricks. Tullio trying to get away. Here's Wilson now. His first touch didn't put him in a position to shoot or to look forward, forced back. Now Nisbet. Back with Torres again. Possession is one thing, but all the Jets are back and there's no way through.
Well, they defended well, didn't they? There was plenty of trickery and dummies, and to the end of it, the Mariners have gone back all the way to Danny Vukovic. So you have to say that Newcastle Jets have done a very good job defensively there. Were very well structured, didn't dive in.
Roux only finds O'Neill screening in front of his defence. Bayless wanted the throw. It's not going to make it that far. Wilson did very well against Moragas in what looked more a wrestling match than... That's nicely done as well. Will Wilson looks up, slips as he looks to cross. And Farrell has front position against Bahaja. This match is starting to take its shape. Torres up the line for Tullio, who waited for Ingham to come and then turned him. Tullio still. The cutback, Grozos clears. Farrell does well.
There's that little encounter on the far side with Will Wilson. See, a little bit slippery out there. We did say the pitch is great underfoot, but maybe they need to get the screw-ins on at half-time.
Old school Daniel McBrain.
Just old Daniel McBrain.
School, not the forte. Here's Torres. With Nisbet. Kaltak. Nisbet able to turn, and now the ball through to Marco Tullio. Being shadowed by Kankar. Tullio has found space. Can he find something more? It's another shot saved by Scott.
Well, he's finding space on this left-hand side, isn't it? It's his favoured side to drift into. And he just drifts in between the midfielders and the back line, in between centre-back and full-back, and he just waits for a defender to come to him and feels them and likes to roll with them as well.
He's done that a couple of times already.
Yeah, well, we saw Dane Ingham come close. As soon as he got close to him on the sideline, he spun him. You've got to get tight, but not too tight, because he can feel you. Can roll you very well. He's very good at it.
Well, he signed a new 2-year contract during the off-season, and that was an important moment for the Mariners, having lost, you talked about it in the pre-game show, so many important players: Silvera, Nkololo, Cummings, all attacking players that supplied goals last season. They signed on Marco Tullio, but perhaps not necessarily able to replace all three of those players, or be all three of those players and a leader on the pitch at the same time.
Yeah, it's difficult. We spoke about it in the pre-game. So many players leave. It does take time. But that's smart play from the Mariners to tie him down for another year. If he has another great season and wants to go overseas, well, then they can make some money off him as well. So it has two advantages.
Here's Farrell, another youngster with a big future, the Ollie Roux. Torres' cross. Ballard able to straighten up, looking for Marco Tullio again. Now the ball is holding up at that end of the field, so you can get it back in. It's another teasing cross from Torres, looking for Wilson. Challengers flying in. Storm Roux thought that was fair enough. Referee Jack Morgan wants to have a word, I think. It is Apostolos Stamatolopoulos who's down. There's nothing anything too wrong with that.
Well, I don't see anything wrong with that challenge at all.
Old Daniel McBrain.
That could be young Daniel McBrain. You would have seen the same.
Here's Ballard with Nisbet. Dan Hall, who's had to bide his time this season with the arrival of Nathan Paul, very highly rated young central defender who's been playing an awful lot of football alongside Brian Kaltak. He picked up a little bit of a niggle in training this week, and with the big match coming up against Terengganu on Wednesday night, the Mariners coaching staff not wanting to take any chances. They've got Melbourne City at home, or rather that's the Jets. They've got Melbourne Victory at home, and then Western United at home. 4 home matches in a row, including the AFC Cup game. It's a good run. And Moragas managed to get the cross in, cleared down in front of the travelling Newcastle Jets supporters, who are the active support down there on the railing, and also all the seats up behind them and on the second tier. See lots of Jets shirts up there as well, so they have come in numbers.
They're getting involved as well, aren't they? They're enjoying it.
The reply coming, you can hear from the Mariners supporters at the other end. Here's Marco Tullio. Ball in from Torres. Haja. Coolly done with Grozos, but they've given it straight back again. Kaltak did too. Referee sees a free kick in that one. Foul by William Wilson, and Bahaja has been fouled a number of times in this first half.
And I say that's probably getting to the point now where the referee is just saying to the Mariners players, it's been an accumulation of those kind of challenges, just as Newcastle look to go on the front foot, slowed the game down. Might be a yellow card coming soon if it continues.
Grozos, big switch of play, is a good one. Nice first touch as well, Moragas. Here's Taylor. He just took a moment too long before he saw what he thought was an option with Bayliss perhaps at the back post. The run not coming. There you see the Jets heading down predominantly this left-hand side when they do break, but nothing through the middle.
Well, it's not too dissimilar to the Mariners as well. Mostly coming down this left-hand side, Tullio and Torres. I think that's just the way that both teams are set up. Defensively block that central area, don't they?
Here's Kaltak. Farrell looks up and looks long, but that ball just drifts out of play. Let's head back down to Ben Homer, who's keeping an eye on the 2 benches for us.
Robbie, we're no stranger to seeing coaches frustrated on the sideline, but I'm just sensing more urgency from Rob Stanton today. He just early on in the game felt his side was a little off. He has been very animated on the sideline, wants them to be breaking a lot quicker than what they are currently. Additionally, the Jets coaching staff have been blowing up at the 4th official around the Mariners' tactical fouls inside the Jets' half, which have been happening in the last few minutes, just as the Jets have threatened to break. So they've been asking for a yellow card. Just keep an eye on that.
Well, tactical foul is the perfect way to put it, isn't it? Because we know the Jets are dangerous on the counter-attack, and the counter-attack is not necessarily just the sprinting forward and finishing. It's where does the ball come from? If you can cut it off at the source. And there are no counter-attacks. That's clearly what the Mariners have highlighted in part of their game plan. Here's Storm Roux. Ballard making an extra run outright. Looks up and crosses. Back post. Tullio is there. Good header from Ingham. Farrell will keep it in play. Kaltak with Tullio. He was looking immediately for Torres. It was well read by Ingham.
Well, he loves that little one, doesn't he? The little studs on the ball, roll it through the legs. We've seen the Mariners cross the ball in the air quite a number of times. I just like to think in these conditions when the ball's skipping off the surface, maybe just drive it across the 6-yard box on the ground, and you never know, a defender might be stretching, you know, put it into their own net, but then it just takes a touch. There's an attacker to just step onto it, get a touch onto it. But so far, most of the crosses have gone in the air.
Moragas gets the better of Will Wilson. Playing Taylor with O'Neill. Now all the way back with Philip Kankar. Ingham, he was rushed, well quickly closed down by Farrell. Half an hour gone. Neither keeper overly troubled so far. The Jets are yet to have a shot. Mariners have had a couple, but it's perhaps not a shot in from Qual that was one of their better chances. Again, the Jets bench jumps up as Bayliss goes down holding.
He did well with great feet, didn't he? Tight area, 2 yellow shirts around him, got out of that, and when he turned around, Farrell was bearing down on him very quickly. Probably in fairness to Jacob Farrell, just maybe pulled the studs back at the last minute, or kept them down, didn't really follow through. It's been a pretty nice derby, considering, hasn't it? It's been pretty friendly, considering it's a derby.
Plenty of time for that to change as Grozos with the ball in. Ooh, a wild clearance and out for a corner. First of the match for the Newcastle Jets. Marco Tullio with the clearance conceding that goal. Grozos, who takes it short with Taylor back out. Calls for offside and the flag went up immediately.
Well, that's good play from the Mariners. You could see as soon as the ball was played, they all stepped up and it was immediately played back. You heard a number of players calling for the offside.
And there are the Jets substitutes warming up. One man in there in particular, Jason Hoffman, knows all about the derby and what it means for these two sides. Coming up on 300 matches soon. Will Wilson has gone down. Now, they didn't look too much in that, and those are always the ones that you should worry about a little bit. He's back quickly to his feet, but was hurt there. Kankar was involved in the challenge. Here's Kaltak. Back with Farrell. That's a clever pass. Nisbet now for Torres. This time the cross comes early and a bit lower. Kankar turns it behind, so from corner at one end, we head up the other, and a corner for the Mariners now. Again, it looks like it'll be for Torres to take. Again, he's got Marco Tullio short, 2 arms raised. The ball deep back post, oh, but that's always frustrating. It went straight out of play off the left boot before curling back in. Referee assistant on that far side immediately flagging. Perhaps, Mackie, you say that the game is being played in a very gentle spirit between the two sides. Perhaps we could expect a little more intensity as well in the actual play.
Yeah, it's been more of a chess match, hasn't it? Mariners with more of the possession, trying to move the Jets around. As we said before, the Jets win the ball. Usually culminates in a tactical foul from the Mariners, which slows the game down, and we haven't really seen any high velocity football, to be honest, in the opening 35 minutes.
Perhaps that's the result of 4 matches without a win, just 2 goals scored, at least for the champions, the Central Coast Mariners. Now both coaches have sent their entire benches out to warm up. Is that sending a little message as well to the players out on the pitch that let's offer a little bit more here? Nisbet won't get there, Bayliss does. Mariners supporters were disappointed to see Bayliss leave the club at the end of last season, and then especially when he got picked up by the Jets.
Well, he had been doing very well in the NPL competition and had been training with the first team. And at the time, I think Nick Montgomery and his coaching staff didn't see a place for him. Nice feet there.
And Ballard now inside. Torres more centrally. Ruse an option on this right-hand side. Now Wilson comes back inside. Torres does like to get into shooting opportunities on the left foot. The little 1-2 with Max Ballard. Farrell's head up. There's been a head clash there with Stamatolopoulos. Referee Jack Morgan just saying we're not taking any chances with head clashes.
Yeah, and they hurt, those ones on the back of the head as well, particularly when one hard head hits another.
He left the Newcastle Jets 2 years ago. Apostolos Stamatolopoulos had a first experience in the Greek 3rd division with Rhodos. Scored 7 goals there, then moved to Yanina in the top flight, mostly as a squad player. Didn't get the goal in 17 appearances, most of them off the bench in the Greek Super League. But an invaluable experience nonetheless. The A-League is the league where stars are made. Occasionally they come back and head off again when they need to. A footballer's journey isn't always linear, is it, Daniel McBreen?
No, it definitely isn't, and they're all different. And I spoke to Apostolos when he came back from overseas, and he said it was a real great learning experience for him as well. I remember chatting to him before he went away, telling him all the pitfalls that could be over there and what you need to watch out, and he said a lot of that stuff that was said, it happened. But it was an enjoyable experience, and you can see, I think, he's come back and he's learned a lot. He's improved his game, and he still wants to continue improving.
Free kick going Dan Hall's way. It was Taylor, the judge, to have gone in a little high with the leading boot. Farrell with Torres, takes off again. Torres gets a lucky bounce and then a lucky touch. Still comes out with the ball. The number 11, that's not luck. Wonderful quick feet for Nisbet. Perhaps didn't really have any right to win that back, Nisbet, after giving it away. Now Tullio is deflected and then ends up falling kindly for Ryan Scott.
Some nice feet there, isn't it? White shirts all around, doing the unexpected.
Bayless given away cheaply, intercepted by Farrell. Goes again. O'Neill diving in. Did Farrell get the touch? O'Neill says he got ball. Grozos throws himself to the ground. Sarcastic applause from Marco Tullio.
Well, I think that's a good challenge myself. The crowd's starting to get involved.
You want the crowd to get involved in any football match. They're part of the drama, part of the theatre.
Well, they usually don't disappoint in the second half here at Industry Group Stadium.
And there, Farrell drew the challenge from Kankar. Tullio only got as far as Brandon O'Neill. That's a good ball for Nisbet. Space. Nisbet hits it off the crossbar. It was over Ryan Scott, who'll say he had it covered, but it just kissed off the top of the bar.
Well, I think he did have it covered. As Nisbet got the ball there, he had a little think about the reverse pass to Tullio and said, no, I'm in range here, I'm going to have a crack. It wasn't a bad effort. It just dipped at the last minute, skipped off the top of the crossbar.
It's as close as we've come to a goal 5 minutes before half-time. And probably just confirming that it's the Mariners that have tried to make the running in this match. A Mariners side perhaps understandably low on confidence. And Nisbet, not known for his goal-scoring feats either. His first ever goal did come in an F3 derby, mind you. Here he goes again. Challenged by Grozos. Oh, given straight back. Tullio to the back post. Will Wilson doesn't get there. Cross back in from Storm Roux. Still, it will remain in play if Torres wants it to. He allows it to run out of play for a throw. Here's Ballard. Is being played. 21% in the Mariners' final third against 32 in the Jets' final third. Free kick and a set piece for the home side.
Well, they're definitely leading across the board on the stats, aren't they, the Mariners? They are the one at home pushing the play. They're not really, is the scoreboard. Just can't quite fashion a chance of any note.
The Mariners and the Wellington Phoenix, the only sides yet to score from a set piece this season. Tullio's ball back post. Cleared Farrell with Kaltak. They haven't fixed that statistic so far. The Mariners are also the only side in the league this season yet to open the scoring, yet to lead for a minute of football this campaign. All of that for the side that demolished Melbourne City 6-1 in the grand final at the end of last season. There's Danny Vukovic. Kaltak with Farrell, who takes off again inside. The little 1-2, give and go with Torres. Good ball over the top from Farrell, inviting Marco Tullio into the area. Tullio, again, it just wasn't a confident finish.
No, well, that just sums it up right there. Marco Tullio of last season just buries that in the top corner, far top corner.
And now the Jets might just show them how to do it. Taylor, Stamatolopoulos is in the middle. Taylor still going. Is he going to try and fashion a shooting opportunity for himself? Here's Ingham. Drives it in low, ball bouncing around. And breaks kindly for the Mariners. 2 minutes of stoppage time. Well, Marco Tullio, I mentioned his scoring goals in the AFC Cup. There's a bad collision there between Ballard and Ingham. Looks as though both players are okay as Ingham's back to his feet. Torres it is who is trying the fancy flick on his own goal line. Has he managed to win it back here? Yes, he has. Free kick down in front of it. Unconvinced Jet supporters.
Well, this is a gilt-edged chance for Marco Tullio. And you said it, Robbie. He just looked bereft of confidence as he attacked that area. And last season, he would have finished that with a flourish. It's just not happening so far this season. It was beautifully opened up. Wonderful play. Again down this left-hand side.
Well, he's taken more shots than any other player in the league before this round of matches. Marco Tullio, as we said, he's taken the most in this game as well. Already 3 shots. Qual, who hasn't seen so much of the football, Alu Qual, he's trying to play as that target in the middle for those long balls forward. Here's Torres. Nice feed again. Bayless back helping out, but here he goes again. Torres receiving from Marco Tullio. Strong defence from Kankar.
Yeah, he's done that on a couple of occasions tonight. Read the play, read the through ball, got out with a strong challenge.
Now Farrell dinks the ball in. Oh, it's a great ball and it's a great goal. Stormroom, the Kiwi veteran, last month played his 150th A-League match for the Central Coast Mariners, and now he has a goal to add to it. And for the first time this season, the Mariners lead.
Well, it was a wonderful ball, wasn't it? Harvey Norman replay shows it was just whipped into that back post area. Ryan Scott couldn't come for it as it starts to bend away from him. And Storm Roo comes in on his less favoured left foot and buries it at the far post. And Mark Jackson will think that's more than they deserve. Or no more than they deserve, sorry. It was a wonderful finish. Great ball in. They had a great opportunity just a couple of moments ago to go ahead. Well, this time they didn't squander it. 1-0 Mariners.
And in the 3rd minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half, quality finish from Storm Roo. On the balance of play, you'd say they just about deserve it, as you say, Daniel McBreen. It's all but the last kick of the opening 45 minutes. Storm Roo, the provider, the right back, the left back, Jacob Farrell, providing the ammunition. And at half-time at Industry Group Stadium in Gosford, it's the champions, the Central Coast Mariners, finally in front on the scoreboard. They lead the Jets in the derby by a goal to 0.
So after dominating everywhere but on the scoreboard in that first half, the home side with a goal right on the halftime whistle to take the lead into the break. We've got the halftime show coming up next for you here on Paramount Plus. Don't go anywhere. Welcome to the Hungry Jacks halftime show here on Paramount Plus. It is an F3 derby and it's the home side, the Central Coast Mariners, with the lead at the break. They had to work hard for it. All the ball, all the field position in the first 45, and right on the cusp of halftime, they managed to find the back of the net. Hello and welcome to Central Coast Stadium. I'm Neve Owens. Roy O'Donovan is here. He's played on both sides of this F3 derby. And Roy, from a Newcastle perspective, that was one of the worst halves of football we've seen from them so far this season. We saw an animated Newcastle bench willing their team on.
Yeah, look, and the reason for that is Mariners have been more adventurous. They've really pressed very high up, which they just didn't expect, and they've got the reward in the end. 1-0, probably deserved, could have been a couple more, but Mariners will take it. Jets are still in the game, just.
They had to fight for it though, the Mariners. They had to wait for it, and Storm Roux in his 150th A-League game found the breakthrough on the cusp of half-time, and who else but Jacob Farrell with the assist.
Absolutely, the two fullbacks we're talking about being adventurous, going forward. Both fullbacks have been terrific, and Storm Roux, he's taken that like a season number 9. Harry Kane would have been proud of that. So great finish and just at the right time for Mariners.
They needed it, didn't they? Because we saw them with numerous opportunities throughout the first half. We know that's been the tale of their season so far, but this one, they made it count.
They made it count, and they have been. They've had the yips in front of goal, and maybe it was good that it fell to a defender, and he didn't take it well.
Look at those half-time match stats from a Newcastle Jets perspective. The XG, 0. The shots at goal, 0. The shots on target, 0. They really struggled to maintain possession in that first 45.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, my eyes haven't deceived me. They were that poor. But yeah, pretty much Mariners have pressed them high, and in transition, they've struggled to string two passes together, to be quite honest. They're trying to launch hopeful balls up to Stamatopoulos, and Brian Kaltak has had his card marked.
You could see the fact that the Mariners have started this season 0-4 and how much they want a win in this one by the way they set up. Differently, Roy, with the ball and without the ball. And when they had the ball, we saw more attack from them today and really putting pressure in those wide areas.
Absolutely. So Storm Roux and Jacob Farrell on either side, they're advancing. They're giving the opposition fullbacks in Dane Ingham and in Lucas Marshall. They're giving them things to think about. So there's plenty of pace, and all the threat is coming from wide areas for the Mariners. And in the end, they made it count with Storm Roux's goal, but they missed a couple of decent chances along the way. I think this one, Will Wilson does well to win it. And if Paul goes with his left foot, he's got a goal. He's got a tap in there. He's gone with the wrong foot, and they've suffered there.
Will Wilson in this moment on the right-hand side. We saw him shift to the left throughout the half, but obviously they're trying different things to try and find and get the most out of him.
They're trying to get him in the game, and he's been, to be fair, he's been terrific. As has Tullio. I think some of his touches, along with Torres, have been exceptional. And for me, though, Ballard and Nisbet are winning the midfield, and that's the key area of the pitch.
It's where it's breaking down from a Newcastle perspective as well, isn't it?
Hugely. I think Brazos and O'Neill really, they've struggled. They've struggled to get out, and Nisbet and Ballard just look like they're in free flow.
Jacob Farrell throughout this first 45 breaking down so much defensively when Newcastle have the ball, but also pushing forward and delighting this home crowd.
Well, he is, and they love him here, and we've seen him have some great battles with Irinkunda over the last year or so, but he's a big game player. As is Storm Roux, 150 big games he's played for the club as well, and a great finish today. But their energy has been immense up and down, and it's given Newcastle Jets all sorts of problems.
This was one of those moments, wasn't it, that last season Marco Tullio would have buried that opportunity.
Correct, and that's the thing. He's made a great run. It's a great ball. That looks like a player that's just slightly off his confidence levels that we saw last year, but having said that, it's a really positive sign for Mariners that he's getting in there. And
it's a happier halftime talk than it would have been in previous weeks, because the first time this season they actually had the lead at the break, the Central Coast Mariners. Let's have a look at the P+ player index at halftime in this F3 derby, because one bloke who we saw rise high throughout that first half, he's a local product. They absolutely love him here on the coast, and it's Jacob Farrell.
Yeah, he's been top notch. Everything good about Central Coast Mariners today he's been involved in, and the player index has got it spot on today so far.
You can see as well the domination of the Central Coast Mariners here at home in the first 45. All top 5 players at halftime from a Paramount Plus player index perspective, all in yellow and blue.
Yeah, look, we said Kaltak has got Stamatopoulos' card mark. We said about the two fullbacks, terrific. We said they've won the midfield battle, so I think I've nailed my job today. I've earned my paycheck.
Do you know what? This is a derby here on the Central Coast, and we've got another big derby coming up for you tonight at Allianz Stadium. Scotty Mack and Luke Wilkshire are there, and they're counting down to the Sydney derby.
Yes, we love a bit of Derby Day action, or Spite Night, as it will be here tonight, surely, Luke Wilkshire. Now, what a bounce back it was for Ufuk Talay with his boys in Sky Blue. They're going to have to do that again, aren't they? Because the Wanderers are in red-hot form.
Yeah, look, it was, and they needed a response. Look, the poor start that they had, and obviously we saw the quality that Sydney FC do have, and you get that with a new manager coming in, and Ufi's coming in. They've got that bounce. Now going into this game, massive. Wanderers have been in great form. Derbies, everyone loves them, so we've got a good one to look forward to tonight.
We saw how fiery it was between the two sides in all 4 games last year, but Sydney ended up knocking the Wanderers out of the finals. They finally made the finals. Surely revenge is a big thing tonight for Wanderers.
Well, everybody knows Marco Rudan, and he's going to make sure they're fired up for this. He's all about it. Love these games. So look, we expect a feisty one. Again, Sydney FC desperate to get more points on the board, but the Wanderers looking to continue their good form.
Quick tip, what are you thinking here, mate?
I'm going to go score draw.
Oh, score draw. You got it last night. Will he get it again? And just wonder, will Milos Ninkovic jump into the Sydney FC sheds and try and ruffle some feathers? We'll wait and see.
We saw how that played out last time. We'll see whether or not he's learnt his lesson tonight. That is the Sydney derby. It's coming up at Allianz Stadium. at what looked like a drier Allianz Stadium, I've got to say, than it is here on the Central Coast. We'll have that one for you on Paramount Plus and on 10 Bold right after this F3 derby. Now, the second half here in Gosford is about to get underway. It's the home side, the Central Coast Mariners, with a 1-0 lead heading into the second half. This has been the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Robbie Thompson and Daniel McBreen back with you after the break. And don't forget, coming up this week, it is the Matildas in action once again up against Canada.
Cuts it in, Adriana Leon. What a hit! What a great goal! Canada take the lead with a rocket into the top corner.
Back to Kerr, who cuts it for Fowler! Less than 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Sam Kerr sets up Mary Fowler to give the Matildas the dream start.
Red hot lover, but I'm cold as ice. I'm no angel.
Welcome back to Gosford, where that is the moment of this match so far in this 60th A-League F3 derby. It's the Mariners who are looking to get back to winning ways. Storm Roux, the difference on the stroke of half-time with that fantastic strike, his first of the season, in his 153rd for the Mariners. We're all set for the second half. No changes to either side at the break. In a rainy Industry Group Stadium. The Mariners in front for the first time this season. The Jets, who have been finding the back of the net, yet to have a shot at goal in this one. The second half is underway. Daniel McBreen, it was two sides that didn't really bring the customary intensity to the F3 derby, but that's probably justified by the fact that both are struggling early in the season. This, a great opportunity to get things moving in the right direction.
Yeah, well, there was no fire and brimstone, let's put it that way. Very tactical game. I think the Mariners, we can safely say, dominated that first half and really pushed the envelope more. And I'm sure Robbie Stanton will be asking a little bit more of his charges in the second half. And as you say, haven't mustered a shot on goal, and they get a corner early in the second half.
Well, it's more than an entire season since the Jets last won after conceding the opening goal. That was against Melbourne Victory back in February 2022. 26 matches, conceding first, not winning. Will they be able to turn it around here? It's all a new challenge for new coach Robbie Stanton every time. A set piece possibility. Referee had a good long look at that one before deciding it was indeed a handball. Let's head down to Ben Homer, who caught up with the Jets assistant coach, Demir Pradanovic.
Demir, a tough first half, down 1-0. Was it one of the more disappointing halves from the Jets this season?
From a defensive point of view, no. With the ball, yes. We've addressed a few things at half-time. We need to be more composed with the ball, keep changing sides, and our moments will come. But the boys showed good character for most of the half in terms of our defensive structures being good.
What was the message from Rob to those attacking players?
Just show a little bit more composure with the ball. That will get our players in the pockets where we can make some forward runs, and just a little bit more composure in the front third.
Good luck, Demir.
Thank you very much.
Well, thanks for that. Benny Homer down on the sidelines. A good defensive display it was. It was a very good goal that brought the Jets undone in the end from Storm Roux. But they definitely need to do more coming forward. We barely saw Apostolos Stamatolopoulos. That's nicely done by Marco Tullio, who gets the cross in. It's allowed to bounce inside the 6-yard box by Kankar. And that was a nervy moment and a let-off for the Jets there.
Well, you could see by the reaction from Kankar, he knew he'd done wrong. He just threw the arms down and disgusted himself. Just let that ball roll across as the Mariners come again.
And here they do come. Farrell deflected. Well, that is brilliant defending from Kankar. Talk about making up for a small error moments earlier with more desperate defending.
And here's that skill from Marco Tullio. He loves it, doesn't he? He doesn't like to do anything the easy way. And then Farrell on the other side just getting in behind. And that's a good block.
Raised from Angel Torres. It's deep to the back post for Kaltak. And a solid collision there. It was a brave bit of defensive work from Brandon O'Neill, the Jet skipper.
Yeah, well, that one hurt. Kaltak just a little late as the ball came into the back post. And then O'Neill, front position, good header, did his job well.
Here's Moragas with O'Neill straight back onto his feet. Grozos operates as that deepest lying midfielder for the Jets. Does Costa Grozos, his third season now with Newcastle. O'Neill, good switch of play for Moragas. Can't control, but he's got O'Neill in support again. Moragas, who has had some joy. It's a good cross to the back post, and Farrell concedes the corner under pressure from Stamatolopoulos. that first effort at goal, let alone on goal, from the Newcastle Jets. Will it come from a set piece? Natta is in there, so is Buhaja. Towards him, Buhaja misses it. It bounces off Dan Hall as much as anything else, or in fact that was Alu Kuol who it's hit in the 6-yard box. Ingham charged down. They survive again. That could have gone anywhere.
Yeah, Alu Kuol was just lurking, wasn't he, with intent. Fell closer to Daningham, who is a very quick player, so may have had the capacity to cover back anyway.
Well, that's given away very cheaply by Mark Natta. Wilson charging down the right flank. Grozos has him covered though. Ballard. Good challenge, O'Neill. Taylor loses out. Referee letting it go. And again, as Bayliss almost brings down Nisbet. Now Tullio. He's a very left-footed player, so as he came in there on the right, it was always going to be another opportunity for the Jets. No way through for Bayliss. Strong challenge, Ballard and Nisbet. That defensive midfield duo, and here's Farrell again. The ball in for Kuol. Is this the opportunity? Oh, he just couldn't bring it under control. A tangle of legs between him and Natta.
There's just been a few little moments in this second half that may suggest that the game may open up a little bit.
Certainly, as we see there, it took a deflection on the way through towards him as well. The conditions are very good. It's sort of cool, 22, 23 degrees, slick surface. The rain has just abated again, having been very present during the halftime show. Down pitch side. Kuol, again Natta as well. Kuol tries to straighten up and somehow managed to get a shot on target there out of absolutely nothing, and Ryan Scott had to be very alert.
Well, he had no right, did he? There was white shirts everywhere, and he managed to wriggle free. You can see here. And just out of nowhere, as you say, just gets the shot off on the tight angle. Ryan Scott on his toes.
That's a nice touch from Moragas. And he's managed to go past Roux, crosses. Stamatolopoulos is there, but so is Brian Kaltak. Well, a couple of chances at both ends, and the intensity certainly has lifted a couple of notches in the first 8.5 minutes of this second half. Coming often from two of the players we expected to. Moragas, the left back for the Jets, and Farrell, the left back for the Mariners. Taylor. Crosses. Oh, there's two queuing up there. Surely Bayliss. Great defensive work, Josh Nisbet. And Danny Vukovic, didn't he enjoy it?
Oh, I thought he was going to rugby tackle him there. He was so excited. They were queuing up the Jets players at the back stick. You see here down the left-hand side again, Moragas involved, and as the ball comes across, they're queuing up, and there he is, Josh Nisbet. As I said earlier, he's a terrier. He doesn't let the opposition have any time and space.
And that is the last, sorry Macca, the last contribution for poor old Bayliss, who thought his eyes lit up, he was going to have a goal against his former club. Blocked by Nisbet, and now Daniel Steins comes into the contest. 10 minutes into the second half. Taylor forces Moragas to turn tail, chase back. The Jets just starting to see a little bit more of the football as well. They have to try and do more with the ball.
Yeah. To say that was the main concern, was that with the ball they weren't really doing what they were wanting. seems to have had at least some effect, getting it all their own way.
It was a strong challenge from Wilson, and the referee judging that it was a little too strong, perhaps not shoulder to shoulder on Moragas.
Yeah, I think he's got that right. I think it's in the back. Moragas just got front position.
Moragas again. Against Rue, Wilson back helping out. He manages to get the cross in. And Danny Vukovic watchful all the way. Caltag. Coolly done with Ballard, the little 1-2. They've played their way out of a tight spot very nicely indeed there, the Mariners. And now they've got 3 forward for Ballard. Plays it wide, clever pass for Wilson, who lines up and scores! His first goal for the Central Coast Mariners. Set up by Max Ballard. And what a great moment for Will Wilson, who's been playing out of position. And there, he took his chance. You can see what it means to this Mariners squad. They lead 2-0, 11 minutes into the second half.
Well, it was wonderful playing out through a high press, and we spoke before the match about Will Wilson playing out of position, particularly on the left-hand side. Well, today he's been moved on to the right, and it's paid dividends. A wonderful sweeping move. Nisbet and Ballard started it. Wilson with the run on the right on the Harvey Norman replay, smashes it in at the near post, and runs off to celebrate with the fans and the teammates. It's 2-0 to the Mariners, and the Jets have all the work to do now.
It's not only a first goal for the Mariners, it's a first A-League goal for Wilson as well. Didn't he enjoy it, the former Melbourne Victory man? They have now scored as many goals in the F3 derby as they had in the first 4 matches of the season.
Well, I said in the pre-game, didn't I, that they've been creating opportunities but they haven't put them away, and I felt as though once they find their groove and they do create those chances, there's a game where they're going to go and score 2 or 3. And I said, what better time than a derby? Well, they've got 2 now, and what they need to do is go on with it. They can't allow the Jets to feel that they can get a foothold back in the game.
Next up, Malaysian side Terengganu, then Melbourne Victory. So it'll be another stiff test next week against a Victory side undefeated after their late draw last night against MacArthur. Wellington Phoenix, who moved top of the table for the time being with their 1-0 victory over Melbourne City earlier today. Bojidar Kraev the goal, as here goes Qual. And are the Mariners going to turn back the clock and run away with things here? They're starting to create plenty of chances. Bahaja to chase, but Caltag with not too many options, heads all the way back to Danny Vukovic.
We're going to see a couple of changes from Newcastle Jets soon as we kick in to the 60th minute. And that one blocked shot by Josh Nisbet is the only shot of the match for the Jets so far, so something needs to change quickly.
Those changes are going to be the 3rd former Mariner in the Newcastle ranks. Thomas Aquilina coming on. Perhaps more significantly, more symbolically, for Newcastle and its supporters. Their local hope, Archie Goodwin. Here goes Tulio, deflected. Good defending from Natta. But you can see that the Mariners are just getting a little bit of swagger back. Stanopoulos down holding that knee. That's the last thing the Jets need. Subs just put on ice for a moment because it's a corner for the Mariners. Archie Goodwin, who we haven't seen so far this season, about to come on for his first minutes with half an hour still to play. Here it is, the corner taken short. Torres, left foot cross, back post. Hall leaping, Kaltak forever at the back post, keeps it in play again, driven back in hard this time, almost an own goal. And I think it was Stamatolopoulos who almost put it into his own net. The ball cannoning back off the post, and that would just about have been curtains for the Newcastle Jets.
Here's a look at it. It does come off the head of Stamatolopoulos there at the near post, but I think he has to go for it because right behind him, Farrell was ghosting in, looking to add another one.
And Moragas has picked up a yellow card for that challenge on Torres. And there's just a little bit of friction. Well, he got a fair bit of ball, but a fair bit of Torres as well that he took out as he went through him. And now those substitutions do come, and it is an early shower for Stamatolopoulos, replaced by Archie Goodwin. And Moragas, just seconds after picking up that yellow card, perhaps he knew what was coming, decided to make a little mark on this contest. Aquilina spent just half a season at the Mariners last season, moving from Western Sydney before heading north up the F3 to Newcastle. We saw how happy Danny Vukovic was with that block from Nisbet. He has 90 clean sheets, level in A-League history with Liam Reddy, the most of any goalkeeper ever. I think next is Eugene Galekovic with 83 in his time with Adelaide. And Danny Vukovic, if it stays this way, and he's been waiting a while for it, he's been sitting on 90 clean sheets. Might have thought the grand final would have been a nice time to get it. He's gone 4 more matches without a clean sheet, but perhaps today is to be the day.
Well, invariably he's not going to get it now after that big spiel.
Well, we do talk so much about strikers bringing up milestones, a century of goals. Let's give the keepers some credit. Torres, he's done well, and he's fouled. Mike Grozos can't have any complaints, but does.
Well, he's showed on occasion, Torres, some really good feet, great technical ability. Just like to see a little bit more output in that final third, a bit more connect with his teammates.
I wonder how much more time he's going to have, because Christian Theoharis is preparing to come into the game. It's Theoharis that replaced him last 2 weeks ago, last game. But it's going to be Will Wilson who comes on after this great moment for the young man who applauds his fans.
It's a wonderful moment for the young man, Will Wilson, first A-League goal. driving another nail in the coffin of the Jets. Today's derby. But it's not done yet. Still plenty of time for the Jets. Just need something to spark them into action.
Well, the Mariners had previously twice gone 5 matches without a win to start the season, but never 5 consecutive losses. And not to put the mocker on it, they're 25 minutes away from avoiding that, as the afternoon drizzle turns into evening drizzle here on the Central Coast. Marco Tullio fouled by, take your pick, one of 3 Newcastle Jets.
We spoke about how he does that so well. He just stands, waits for the contact, feels the body, and then just uses his strength to hold the ball up.
Their confirmation that the Jets are seeing a little bit more of the football, but it doesn't necessarily mean that things are working in their favour. They're a side that don't mind being without the football. Ingham, this is a great run, but it's a good challenge from Theoharis. Ingham stays down. Mariners break. 4 on 3 if they play their cards right here. Marco Tullio, cross to the back post. Torres. His first touch just took him a little bit wide. Corner to follow.
Well, it was a little difficult, wasn't it? It just skidded off the ground and came up in that difficult area. There was numbers there for the Mariners. And Tullio, you could see, wonderful ball, the vision. It just popped up into that difficult area. He could have done a little better just to kill it with his stomach.
The Jets technical staff are screaming at their players for who to pick up, where to mark, as Torres floats the ball again. And that's frustration for the Mariners technical staff to see an easy corner like that floated to the back post, well within Ryan Scott's range. Taylor bundled over, but no way through for him today. The number 13 for the Jets, who's followed Robbie Stanton, his former youth coach at Sydney FC, and a player that Robbie Stanton, during his time as assistant to Steve Corica, a player he would know very well, keeping an eye on, has brought him up to the Jets. Got that double against Melbourne, victory as well. He's looked the part. I mentioned at the top of the programme, but it's worth repeating. These are the 2 youngest sides in the A-League, nearly a full year younger than Wellington Phoenix, who are the 3rd youngest side in the competition. Phoenix atop of the table. There is the ladder as it stands. The Mariners climbing off the bottom. They've still got a fair way to go. Well, things just not going the Jets' way either at the moment.
Now, Archie Goodwin there just losing his footing as he's tried to spin in the box and just left the legs trailing out.
Kaltak finding Torres with Nisbet. Marco Tullio. It's just a little bit more movement, a little bit more intent in the passes from the Mariners now, courtesy of that second goal. It's replaced fear with confidence. Ball through the back of Kankar. That's a free kick. Let's head back down on the sideline to Ben Homer.
Well, Robbie, Jets fans might be looking for some good news at the moment. I can say that Reno Piscopo, he's not far off from returning back from that calf issue. They're just building up his loads. For Mariners fans, keep a lookout for Jing Reese. I've been told by Mark Jackson he's been massively impressed with his work over the last couple of weeks. This is the 20-year-old who's on loan from AGF in Denmark. He broke his foot last season in Europe, had a lot of time out of the game, so wonderful to see him back. He's been in wonderful touch at training.
Thank you, Ben Homer. Our man on the Central Coast with all the ins and outs and the latest news. O'Neill. Steins gets there. Ambitious effort from outside the box and can't really unduly trouble Danny Vukovic.
Well, it's the first one on target for the Jets today. When our colleague Andy Harper described the Jets as a bland team this week, and I don't know if I agree with that wholeheartedly for the first 4 games, but I think that would describe very aptly this performance today.
Free kick in Marco Tullio's favour. Well, it has certainly lacked a cutting edge today, that we can certainly say. Not the best conditions on the coast for watching football today, certainly good for playing it. Just over 5,000 for the F3 derby. Here's Stormroo. Nisbet. Oh, it was a clever little pass. Wasn't for Thea Harris at all, but for Marco Tullio, who wasn't ready for it. The Jets going backwards at the moment. Thea Harris. Marco Tullio's just about running out of legs, I think. Get the feeling. Thea Harris. He's just turned off a couple of times when his teammates have been looking for him in good positions where he didn't think the ball was going to come. Now the Jets, they've ridden their luck a couple of times. If they want something from this 60th F3 derby, it has to come soon. We've got just over 15 minutes left. Shots to 2, 6 on target against just that one from the substitute Daniel Steins a couple of moments ago. Now Aquilino trying to show a little bit of urgency. There's the 4th and final change coming for the Newcastle Jets. That's the Frenchman, Jason Bertomier, who's going to come on. Tullio. It was a tough challenge between he and Nata. Nata recovered quicker, but then gave the ball straight back to Aluqual. Here's Torres. Disappointing effort on the left foot again.
It just looked a little tired, didn't it? Nasser giving the ball away. Bolt, when he played the ball forward, didn't really make any effort to get up and support either. Was happy just to allow Torres to run at the defence.
There's a little bit of criticism of the Mariners midfield after that 4th defeat of the season. They've certainly responded in kind this afternoon as well. That duo of Ballard and Nisbet back to their best, screening the defence. It's not only Dan Hall and Kaltak that have restricted the Jets' 2 efforts on goal today. The midfielders worked very hard. And here's Tulio into the area, shoots from a tight angle again. Ryan Scott, who was beaten at his near post by Will Wilson, has also saved a couple at his near post as well.
Well, there seems to be a little bit of a swagger, isn't there? There's tiredness creeping in, but...
Oh, as Archie Goodwin has got there and scored, there will be no clean sheet for the Mariners. And maybe the F3 derby is game on again. Archie Goodwin, the prodigal son, returns to the side, immediately onto the score sheet. What a prospect he is for the Jets, and this is why the Jets fans love him so much.
Well, he's a precocious talent, and I was just about to say that there seems to be a bit of a swagger about the Mariners, but one goal could change that in an instant, and up pops Archie Goodwin, as he does so often when he gets on the field in the A-League. Quick off the mark, first to the ball, lovely first headed touch around Danny Vukovic and puts it away, and all of a sudden, it's back on again.
A 6th A-League goal. He has only just turned 19. We talk about the goals of Iran Kunda before he turns 20. Well, Archie Goodwin is amongst the goals as well. He's had a long, troubled history with injury, hasn't he, as well, for a young player, Archie Goodwin, as there's a double change. Taylor and Natta making way. Jason Hoffman and the Frenchman Jason Berthomier into the game.
Well, he's had a lot of time out, Archie Goodwin, through injuries. He's had a lot of trouble over the last few years. He had back surgery in the off-season, had to go back in and get it done again, and they've had to really manage his loads. And speaking with Rob Stanton, said that that'll be an ongoing process for this season. He'll need to be brought on as a sub to get himself right, get himself strong. They don't want to rush him because he is such a talent, and he's one that all the locals love to see out there. It's important that they get it right so he can continue on that footballing development.
Well, we saw it just there, that innate ability that strikers have. Not all of them, but good strikers have. Beating an offside trap, adapting to whatever the condition needed, a bouncing ball, not it past the keeper.
And he is a natural finisher as well. He gets himself in great positions. You can see there, you know, he made that look easy. The header past the keeper and then to slot it away. The timing of the run as well, and it's game on.
Mariners win it back. Theoharis, foul by Hoffman, according to the referee.
Here's another look at, see the run. See how he arced his run at the start. He doesn't just run straight, which allows him to stay onside, and then the deft header past the outrushing Danny Vukovic, and then he had the simplest of tasks of just slotting it away. They need him fit and firing, and he needs to be looked after this season.
Theoharis limps out of that challenge. Ben Homer spoke about this young man coming on. Jing Reese is into the game to replace Alu Kwol. Alu Kwol, who has returned to the Mariners this season. Well, so too has Jing Reese, on loan from AGF in Denmark. Now Marco Tullio. Thought about it. Here it comes from Torres. It was an elaborate set-piece move with a little bit of drama and theatrics thrown in, but it didn't come off. The Jets weren't buying.
Well, they had a few set pieces last year, didn't they, the Mariners, that came off. And that one was more the acting skills. It was just a little too close to the keeper.
Needed the runners. Perhaps they were sucked in by the Torres despair as well. Steins taking the ball over towards Bahaja. Well, this will be a good test of the Mariners now. We were talking about how their confidence had turned around. Now they need to show their defensive steel. It's a 5th game without a clean sheet this season. Torres would challenge Grozos. Hoffman back helping out.
That's a great challenge, Costa Grozos, because Marco Tullio was free on the right and he was about to be released.
Jason Hoffman, A-League match number 294 for him as Aquilina's cross. It's into a good area. Oh, Bahaja. How did he not score against his former club there?
Well, what a wonderful ball this is from Thomas Aquilina. Look at that. You can't ask for anything better than that, and he has to score. He does everything right. He just misjudges, tries to stoop and head the ball, just gets it all wrong. And it should be 2-2.
And it just goes to show that you can never bank your points before that final whistle blows. The Mariners looked like they were cruising. Archie Goodwin's goal, and all of a sudden the Mariners look rattled. And here is, I was just going to say, Jason Hoffman, his 37th match against the Mariners. They're an old foe, and there's nothing he would like more. There's Bahaja, that's a good ball. Steins thought about shooting. Steins still going. In the end, does. Blocked by Nisbet again. Jing Reese with Stormroo. Now Thea Harris. Mariners have players capable of protecting possession, putting their foot on the ball.
This game isn't going to geek out slow, quietly, is it? Something's going to happen in this next 10 minutes. It just feels like it's building and brewing.
Nisbet receiving a lovely touch from Tullio, who's down writhing around in the centre circle. Torres, oh, was he looking for Nisbet? Might yet get another opportunity here. And again, he blazes high and wide. There's been some fantastic dribbling and some diabolical shooting from Angel Torres. Marco Tullio and Grozos having a little bit. The referee spotted the first little push from Marco Tullio, so free kick has gone Jets' way.
Marco Tullio's still incensed from the challenge that happened.
Him, it was Kenkar, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he's angry about that challenge, and the referee said, look, you had to play, I let the advantage go, and I think he was asking for a yellow card, and he just needs to control himself.
Now the Jets have their tails up. The cross in. Grozos is there. Appeals for a handball from the Mariners' defence. Danny Vukovic launches long. Aquilina's header.
There's another look there. Mariners players were claiming a handball, seen from that angle.
Vukovic absolutely be furious if they concede another. Miguel Doca, the young Brazilian, is going to replace Angel Torres, who's been asked to get off the field a bit quicker. Docker. Coming on to a right wing position. Danny Vukovic. Not happy about something there, probably still
He's
thinking about the goal.
disappointed that you said he was going to get a clean sheet. That's what he's disappointed about.
Didn't say he was going to.
Wow.
5 minutes to go. There's always next week for Danny Vukovic and the Mariners. They'll take the 3 points first and foremost if they can hang on. The Jets may have other ideas. The travelling support certainly enjoyed that Archie Goodwin goal. Steins in his second season with the Jets. The ball in towards Goodwin. It was Ingham. And now Vukovic looking long and quickly for Jing Reese. Can't find him. There is the Paramount player index. And Archie Goodwin is top of the pops. Courtesy of that goal, no doubt, that has the Jets back in the contest. O'Neill's header. There are the shots, even in this second half. After the Mariners dominated the first 45 minutes. I think they would settle now for the referee's whistle. The rain continues to come down in Gosford. Farrell, who's been looking after his defensive duties more than anything in this second half, gets them moving forward. Theoharis intercepted. Well read by Aquilina. Fresh legs there. Drew sliding in. Has that come off Grozos? It has. Ballard comes to applaud that extra last bit of effort.
Well, that's a determination you need now, isn't it? Last few minutes, Derby at home, were cruising, looking comfortable, and then all of a sudden, the old enemy's back in the game.
Ingham, player of the year for the Jets last season. Oh, Ballard hasn't got there. Bahaja comes away with the ball. Bahaja, who had a great chance to equalise. He'll be looking to make amends for that. Aquilina can't keep it in play. You can see that the Jets want it. They're looking at each other. They're urging each other to give more. Every last ounce to try and get something from this F3 derby. Tullio looks long for Jing Reese, one for him to chase. Mariners bench all appealing for something. As here come the Jets again. Bertomier back with Hoffman. O'Neill. He scored a last-minute winner last season. O'Neill is he going to be able to get there? He's not. That's frustrating from Daningham. Robbie Stanton, he'll be pleased with the second half performance probably, and the reaction from his players.
Well, yes, it's been a much improved second half. The first half left a lot to be desired, didn't it? And there's still a lot of work to do. He says it's still a work in progress. It's a squad that is very young. They're all very eager to learn. It's going to take time, but that's the nature of the beast.
What a great comeback in the F3 derby, doesn't hurt all the same. That's poor from Kankar, but they get another chance. Bartomier with O'Neill. Steins. 5 minutes of stoppage time. One of those has already expired. Ingham wins the throw. Well, it's not exactly laying siege to the Mariners' goal from the Jets now, but they're on top. They're the ones looking more likely scorers at this stage. The cross in from Aquilina is too close again, and met with the round of applause from the fans in attendance here. The majority of them anyway, wearing yellow and blue. O'Neill forward towards Goodwin. Tomier is lurking. Docker. As far as Offmanall. Jing Rees has got away here. He's got Tullio in support. Jing Rees now finds Marco Tullio. Is there to be the icing on the cake for the Mariners? There is! Jing Rees gets his first ever A-League goal. And what better time to do it than in the derby, when all of a sudden you've got your backs to the wall and you need something special. And surely this time they've made the 3-point save.
Well, Coach Mark Jackson said he's been impressed with him in training. And on the Harvey Norman replay, I thought for a moment here they'd slowed it down and the moment was lost. And then when Tullio cuts inside, there's white shirts everywhere. One touch and then wallop with the left foot into the far side of the net. Job done, Mariners. Jing Rees finishes the job. 3-1 to the Mariners in the F3 derby.
Didn't he enjoy it? It's been a long road back from injuries. Ben Homer told us. We've had a first A-League goal for Will Wilson, a first for Jing Rees. And the Mariners almost certainly now have their first win of the season, unless there's something very, very special in reserve for us in the last minute of this one. Oh, that's given away cheaply by Bertomier, who didn't look where it was headed. Kankar is across in cover. The Jets need to throw everything into this now. Steins gets away from Theoharis, only just. Crosses, but it's overhit to the back post. Goal kick, and there will be no rush to take this. Well, it's taken over a month for the champions. Give us a wave, Danny, from the fans behind the goal, and that tells you how they feel it's safe, because normally Danny Vukovic is not one for showboating. But derbies are special moments in the careers of a player. Docker gives it away cheaply. Marco Tullio and Grozos are still having words. All the way to the end of this one. The Mariners have their first win of the season. They left it late to finally put the finishing touches on it. But overall, you'd have to say it's a deserved first victory for Mark Jackson's men this season. The champions lifting in the derby. For a moment, it looked as though Newcastle were going to provide us with the headlines and a grandstand finish. But in the end, Robbie Stanton's side just gave too much of a head start to the Mariners in this match that should have been played in Newcastle, of course, before the fixture was switched. Storm Roux got us underway in first half stoppage time with a fantastic goal. And then Will Wilson added a second. At that stage, it looked as though the Mariners were cruising. Archie Goodwin turned things around momentarily before Jing Reese, with his first A-League goal, secured all 3 points. And it's finished here in Gosford at Industry Group Stadium. The Central Coast Mariners 3, the Newcastle Jets 1. And an important win for the Jets. Let's head down to Ben Homer.
Thanks, Robbie. Yes, I've got the man of the moment. Jing Reese just scored his first A-League goal. Talk us through that one. What's going through your mind and body right now?
Honestly, I can't even speak still. I'm still shocked. Everything happened so fast. Like, the season just started, really. For us boys now, especially in scoring first goal, I'm buzzing, in other words.
Now, I was speaking to Mark Jackson, your coach, during the week. He said he was so impressed by the hard work that you put in over those last 2 weeks, especially during the international break. What kind of advice was he giving you over the fortnight break?
Basically, because he basically said the same things to us, and the good thing is all the boys take note to it and keep pushing. So he told us, because we're all young, of course, he's new here as well, but we're all following the same dreams and goals. He just tells us each day, work as hard as you can. When you're at home, you can recover. Just come back, same thing, and I think that mindset is what's helping us. We're all fighters.
How big is that for your season? First win after what's been a tough start to the A-League.
Yep. Of course, it's good. It's the best feeling. No other words, really. Just first win, and now we're going to keep striving on from it. And hopefully wins from now on, no more losses.
Thanks, Jing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There's Jing Reese, the man of the moment. Now, we're going to bring in Archie Goodwin. Archie, commiserations on the defeat. I know it's a tough one to cop in the derby. Just tell us your reflections on that one.
Yeah, just a disappointing result overall. I thought we started the game pretty poorly, but yeah, we only decided to lift up towards the end of the game, and yeah, I think it was a bit too late. So yeah, disappointing result.
Great to see you back on the field as well and scoring a goal. I know it's tough always when you do go down, but just talk us through your recovery and being back on the pitch now.
Yeah, look, it's been a long journey. I had a few big setbacks coming back from the off-season. Played that game in Darwin, and yeah, broke down after that again. But I think I've had a good 14 weeks to build myself back up, and I'm in a good place now. And yeah, it's all positive on my end, and just looking to get more game time and just make an impact for the team.
Thanks, Archie, so much for having a chat, and great to see you back on the pitch.
Thanks, mate.
So the Mariners beat their season goal tally in one game, and they do it to win the derby and notch up their first victory of the season. Mark Jackson with his first win as Mariners boss. He'll join us on the post-game show. That's next, right here on Paramount Plus.